You've carved out time in your diary. You made sure that you've got on this call. I know for many people, you might be watching this as a recording. Well done for taking time out to stay in step with the community. Very quickly, I'd love to know from the people on this call where you're dialing in from. So just pop into the chat function. You can find it at the bottom of the screen there. Change who you're typing to from all panelists to all panelists and attendees, to everyone. And just let me know where you're dialing in from. So which town, country, city, so that we know who's on this call, what sort of reach that we have. Brendan, I just want to say thank you to Brendan. He's running the tech support in the back here. Brendan, if we can make sure that the community can access the chat function. If we can't, that might just be a pre-setting. But yeah, great to see you. We've got a whole lot of people coming through. I can see Netherlands, Ireland, Zimbabwe, Johannesburg, Bahamas, Canada, Michigan. Oh, it's coming way too quickly now. Finland, Cape Town, Hawaii. Wow, welcome to the call as well. Lots and lots of people from all over the world who dialed in. Well done for making time to get on this call. It's awesome to see communities from all over gathering together in order to achieve unified goals, in order to implement a unified strategy. So tonight the session is going to be a little bit different. And again, thank you to everybody who's jumped on. And again, thank you to those of you who are watching the recording. Tonight's session is going to be slightly different. We were due to do a panel discussion, but with G999, which is the partner company that has created the new blockchain, with Alex, the CTO, having released some information into the field, we're going to need to do a bit of a pulse check, and we're going to need to do a bit of a pivot in order to make sure that we're set up to implement our strategy. Remember that the strategy stays the same. The goals stay the same. We just need to do a bit of a pulse check on some next steps, some mechanics that we need to do, and we need to pivot in order to make that possible. So I do have one guest speaker on with me tonight, one of the big influencers, one of the big brains when it comes to cryptocurrencies, DeFi, blockchain, a man that I respect hugely. Sean Maloney's on the call. I'm going to be introducing you all to him just now, and he's going to be weighing in. He's going to be weighing into this community-led structure. So very quickly, before we dive into it, I just want to do a recap of where we've come from over the last 4 weeks and where we're going. Okay, I want to make sure that everybody gets where we've come from. So this might be your first call. If this is your first call, just type a 1 in the bottom there so I can see who's on the call for the first time. But if this is your first call, I just want to give a quick recap of what we've spoken about. Then I want to talk about where we're going, so why the strategy we've adopted, which goals we're aiming at, and then I'm going to do a bit of a pulse check where we are right now, and then I'm going to talk through what we need to do. Who here agrees that there's been a lot of information coming at you? Okay, so guys, sorry, I can see your chats. It's all coming through the panelists. But who agrees that there's been a lot of information in the last 5 days? Just say lots, okay? Type in lots or yes if there's been an avalanche of information and maybe you're feeling a little overwhelmed. Yeah, I totally understand that. And so that's why we have these calls. We have these calls in order to separate information that we need to know and information that we need to action. So I'm going to say that again. There's a lot of information coming at us. There's information that we need to know because it's going to be relevant in the near future. And then there's information that we need to action. And sometimes if we can't tell the difference, it becomes overwhelming. So today's call is about going through the information that we've received and then making sure that we go and action what's necessary. I love Lou Holtz. Who here has heard of Lou Holtz? Just type Lou, L-O-U, if you've heard of Lou Holtz. Super famous American NFL, not NFL, college football coach. Okay, coached Notre Dame for many of his years. Wrote a book called, I'm going to get the title wrong here, but The Secret of Winning, so something like that. But here's essentially what he subscribes all success to. Having the mindset of win. In other words, what's important now? And so in today's, I love it, we're getting so much, people are busy correcting me. Hey, the Fighting Irish, that was Notre Dame as well, which is great. But what I want to do on this call is focus on what's important now. In other words, take the information we've received decide on what's important now and action that. That is key to keep moving forward so that we can implement our price maker strategy. So having said that, quick recap. Let's make sure we're all in step. So in 2018 and 2019, we know this. In 2018 and 2019, the company launched 2 ICOs, the KCB and KBC ICO, 2018 and 2019. At the beginning of 2020, so in January, these projects were put on ice. They were paused. Why were they paused? Many of you know this. The EU regulation kicked in with some new gazetted regulations, making sure that there's a better framework for the adoption of cryptocurrency. So that's a good thing. Regulation allows for the adoption of cryptocurrencies. There are a lot of people who sometimes believe that regulators are the enemy. Regulation is going to help with the adoption. If someone's asking for me to enlarge the screen, can I just suggest that you click on the screen you're watching and it pops up a bit larger? That should sort it out from your side. So having said that, the regulation came in, and ultimately the regulation says that you need to make sure that the security tokens and the utility tokens that any company creates are 2 separate entities. You cannot have a mutated, a hybrid coin that has the properties of security and utility tokens. And as many of you know, KBC, KCB had the properties of both. It had 123 kgs of gold vaulted. The idea was to keep raising the amount of gold, okay, keep raising the security behind the coin, whilst increasing the trades that were happening with the coin. So the utility, the use of the coin. EU regulation said, well, put the brakes on, split that up. And so January 2020, this whole team community project put the brakes on. And for many people, that was terrifying. And I understand that. It was terrifying because certain goals, dates, and deadlines could no longer be reached. Okay, so if you felt anxious, if you felt uncertain, if you felt that fear during the last 10 months, type the word that describes the feeling you had when we started not being able to hit goals, deadlines, and promises. Just type in the feeling. It helps me understand where we're sitting. You're scared, discouraged, absolutely, devastated, disillusioned, frustrated. Some people felt sick, okay, under pressure, uncertain, anxious, demotivated. Great description. Disappointed, yes. Okay, so we've all felt that. There's no one on this call, and there's no one that I've spoken to in the last 10 months who've been able to say, I've been immune to that feeling. Whether it's been in small doses or large doses, that feeling has been stuck there. Okay, here's the exciting thing, is that the company now has made sure that there are partnerships in place, key partnerships, that has put us back on track. So we've now got a pure utility token, which is called G999. Okay, utility just means use. It can be used to transfer data. It can be used as a wallet. It can be used to make payments. It can be used to send and receive emails. Okay, that's use, utility. And there's now the V999, which is our gold-based stable coin, 0.1 grams of gold for every coin. So the two characteristics, properties, the 2 properties that existed in here have now been split, and now we've got safe, regulated tokens, and the project can move forward. So for every person who felt those emotions, I'm trusting that because you plugged into this community, you're plugging into these calls, you're plugging into the next steps, you're starting to see that we get to now take advantage of this reset. We get to take advantage of this reset, and not just take advantage of it. We're sitting in a time where there's a unique window of opportunity where we can actually drive the price of this coin up. And I say unique window because it's not going to exist forever. G999 has a specific use in the marketplace. The specific use is to send and receive emails, it's to make payments, it's to be able to verify transactions on their new wallet facility. That's its specific use that it's going to grow into. But for a very unique period, because you and I sit with so many of the coins, once we've come through the reduction plan and we've launched, because you and I are going to be sitting with so many coins, you and I are going to have the maximum influence on the coin in its earliest days. I'm going to say that again. We've got maximum influence in its earliest days, and that influence over time is going to be reduced. So what are you and I going to do with the maximum influence that we have in the space? We're going to implement our price maker strategy. And if you don't know what that is, please go back to week 1, week 2, and week 3, where we unpack our strategy to hit 5 goals. 1, make sure that any person who spent money during this ICO, which was the most expensive ICO, make sure that anybody who spent money during the most expensive ICO breaks even on their original spend. That is goal 1. Goal 2 is to make sure that we 2x that value. Goal 3 is 4x the value. Goal 4 is get the coin into the top 100. And goal 5, if we can push our influence for long enough and really work as a team, goal 5 is to get it into the top 10 coins. Those are the goals. And we're going to achieve it in a very short time frame. After that, because of the activity that we've generated, because of the strategy that we've implemented, because of the awareness that we've created in the open market, understand this, if our coin grows in value and it suddenly starts ranking because of our price maker strategy, the open market is going to pay attention and they're going to come into the project. The whole project is rebranded, rebuilt. If you listen to Alex, the CTO, they've rebuilt the entire blockchain. We're now going to end up with a far more decentralized blockchain. So having said that, let's do a quick pulse check so we understand decentralized blockchain. Decentralized blockchain means that the longer the blockchain exists, the less control individuals have over it, because it becomes more dispersed and becomes more decentralized. Now, the only way that you and I are going to achieve this strategy is to have a centralized community to take advantage in the earliest of days. That's our role, because given enough time, it becomes more and more dispersed and decentralized. Here's what is happening. Step 1. So pulse check. Step 1. Every person in the price maker strategy group should have made sure that they have their KBC on carat bit. Every person should have their KBC on carat bit currently. If your KBC is out on the open market, it's going to become a redundant coin. It won't have an ecosystem, it won't have a blockchain, and it won't have a use. And when something becomes redundant, it becomes valueless over time. So make sure you bring your KBC into carat bit. Step 2, and there's some great how-to videos, there's some great PDFs on the Price Maker channel. Okay, so go back to the Price Maker channel and go and set up your G999 wallets. Now, I used the word just now, I said decentralized. The G999 wallet in its current form today can only be downloaded on a laptop or desktop. Why? Why is that the case? Because the company is making sure that the blockchain is decentralized in its application. And so for all those who've downloaded on their desktop and laptop, you will have an opportunity, if you wish to also potentially set up noding and staking. And these give you passive return. Without a laptop or desktop, you cannot set up noding and staking. Now, don't get ahead of yourselves. You don't need to go and set this up. All we need to do is step 2, which is set up our G999 laptop desktop wallet. Some of our community don't have laptops. Some of our community don't have desktops. And so Alex, the CTO, has announced that on the 15th of October, that's the date they're aiming at, we'll be able to do step 3. Step 3 is we'll be able to open a G999 wallet, okay, but it's called a web wallet. In other words, we can open it using a browser. So for the entire community that is concerned, okay, that you haven't yet downloaded your desktop wallet, your cold wallet, your hard wallet, and you can't because maybe you don't have a laptop or desktop, take a deep breath. No one's going to get left behind. The company is going to release the web wallet as well. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Okay. That's the actionables. So in amongst all the information we're hearing, this is the action step today, and this is the action step from the 15th of October. Now, I want to share some of the changes, some of the pivots that we need to do. Okay, so our price maker strategy was set for the 15th of October. You can all agree that that was our D-Day. It's the day that we were landing, we were aiming at. We wanted to make sure that our rocket was in place to launch our strategy. Right now, if you go look at how many people have downloaded a G999 wallet, KBC cannot be sent from Carrotbit into a G999 wallet as the G999 token because we don't have enough wallet holders yet. So Alex has pushed our D-Day to the 15th of November. 15th of November is D-Day for us in order to implement the price maker strategy, because there's 2 things that happen on D-Day. The cutoff date for KBC into G999 goes to the 15th of November. The exchange that we're going to implement our price maker strategy, because G999 is going on to multiple exchanges. The exchange that we're going to implement our strategy also goes live on the 15th of November, and that's the V999 exchange. So we've only got between now and there in order to set up our wallets, in order to test drive our wallets. And so what Alex has done is he set up an education process. Okay, the official name for it is an airdrop, an education process where he is setting mini tasks and then rewarding people for achieving those tasks. In other words, he's equipping this community to know how to use the wallets we have, to know how to use the platforms we have, to know how to send and receive. Many of you know that the price maker strategy is based on being able to move coins from point A to point B in order to set some prices. Now, if we can't even do the most basic step of moving something from point A to point B because we haven't taken the time to watch the how-to videos, we haven't taken the time to educate ourselves on how the platform works, then our strategy falls apart. The strategy can be good, the community can be unified, but if we don't know how to actually click, if we don't know how to follow those how-to videos, the price maker strategy falls apart anyway. So at first, when I heard that this date had moved, I was like, come on, are we missing another deadline? Are we missing another date? When I went and looked at the number of active wallets on G999, I realized that we weren't ready. We're not ready to move anything. So we've got 4 weeks. Now, I know that some of you have been getting some people in your community who are sitting on KCB have been rushing. They haven't yet even KYC'd properly to send their KBC. Tell them to stop, breathe, slow down. Help them get KBC onto Carrot. Let's go out into our community and make sure that step 1 is done. If there's no step 1, then we can't do step 2. If we can't do step 2, then we can't move into step 3. In other words, we can't be prepared to implement price maker strategy. So yes, I was disappointed at first because I want to action this plan. You would have noticed from some of the videos that once I get excited about something, I want to go action it. But I want it to work. And so I'm going to just share the motto that we've adopted as a community for the next little while. And it's the Navy SEALs motto. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. I need to grab hold of that motto so that we can get all of this right, so that we can actually set the price. So we can make sure that we hit that price. I want to hand over to Sean very quickly. You're going to hear from me just now. But Sean's been looking at some of the actionables that need to take place. He's been looking at the G999 wallet. We've been tracking some of the numbers. But he just so beautifully sums up where the community is actually at. I mean, if we go look at what's happening on the Discord channel, it just shows how many people can't even do some of the basic things. And so, I'd love Sean to weigh in here before we start closing off this call. And I give you some actionable, some assignments that need to get done this week, because then we're 1 week closer. Then we've only got 3 weeks left. So I'm going to hand over to you, Sean. Thanks so much for taking time out today. Sean has a lot of experience in the DeFi blockchain space, been tracking the numbers. I love the tone, the narrative that he brings to this community. It's calming, it's clear, and he's a no fuss, all facts guy. So Sean, thanks so much for your time. Over to you.
Appreciate that, Bruce. Good to see everybody. Absolutely delighted once again that we've got a full call. It shows that people are very serious about what they have embarked on here and how we're going to take this forward. This is the time to consolidate. This is the time to push this over the line. The money is always in the last 10 yards. Okay? So I'm delighted once again and privileged actually to be working alongside people like Bruce and Brendan and the rest of the teams across this community. It is a real honor actually to be able to have some voice in helping this thing move forward to where it deserves to be. Now, getting us to that place, as Bruce very eloquently outlined, is not just about sitting and waiting for it to happen. In this space particularly, but this is general in business, there was an absolute need for everybody to lock arms and combine efforts and take certain steps. So when I heard the news on Saturday, was I similar to Bruce? In fact, I was messaging Bruce straight away with, we now need to do something in order to make sure that everybody understands these steps. But then when I slept on it and I understood what was being said, and then I went back and did some diligence, because we're now able to do that through the Explorer site with regards to the G999. I'll give you a quick look at that in 1 second. When we were able to see that us as a preordained community, that the company has a huge responsibility for, huge responsibility. When we could see that the community was not quite where it needed to be in order to optimize and move into a position in good order that protects everybody. That's on top of what we're looking to achieve with regards to galvanizing a price maker maneuver. Then we realized that it was a very good idea indeed for them to bring out the educational airdrops. And it's fascinating now to watch that taking place. We can see 100 people already being gifted, and they'll be able to now be the first in the world to start to use the functions of the G999 ecosystem. And that's part of the rollout in getting this thing into people's consciousness so that we can move forward effectively. So in my humble opinion, we're actually going to be in a much, much stronger place 30 days from now wherever we are in terms of it's 32 days from now on the 15th of November, a much stronger place than we actually would have been had we activated on the 15th of October. That's my humble opinion on that. So real quick, let me just share my screen and maybe have just a quick resume of exactly what you guys need to be doing as part of the homework that Bruce will be talking about. We would implore you to start to look and be familiar with the G999main.net website. Please go through it. Please read the detail, look at the roadmap, take a good look at all the information that this website avails you of, because it's that's going to give you the momentum, give you the ability to move forward, not just in building towards the price maker and getting ready for what we do after the 15th of October, which will be a very, very unique and special window of influence that we'll all have. Not just that, it will also enable you to go forward and become an active member of this community and become a part of the user base. It's called tokenomics. It's where we actually become a user of our own asset position. Okay, so very much go through this site, guys. I would implore you to do that. Now, there's a very special button in this site called Explorer. Please go to that also and start to familiarize yourself with the numbers. Start to familiarize yourself with what it means to have a look at the movement, the masternodes themselves, the network itself, the top 100 coin holders. Okay, in the Explorer, we can already see there's a number of activities taking place very, very recently, and that's because of what we're doing with the educational airdrops. In the movement side of things, you very, very easily, very transparently, that's the beautiful thing about blockchain, is you're able to go and have a good look at what's going on with regards to the movement of the assets between different functions inside the ecosystem. Quite an astounding thing. Okay, and obviously what the company's doing right now is testing different maneuvers. It's testing maneuvers of movement. It's doing exactly the same with the masternodes. People say to me, Sean, why is this already six nodes in there? Well, clearly the company has to test. It has to make sure that it's ready for us. There's already upwards of 2,000 node holders coming from a preordained community. They've got a massive responsibility to make sure this is right for us. We've got a responsibility to be ready. They've got to make sure that once we are, we're in position. Bruce alluded to the wallet side of things. Now, this isn't something we can read directly because this is all to do, as it says here very clearly, this is a sub-example of the network based on the wallets that were connected to the node in the last 24 hours. Okay, so it's not giving you a total count of all wallets. It's counted at the moment as 221. Okay, this goes up and down because this is based on what's active at the moment. But it doesn't take too many mathematical geniuses to understand that if there's nearly 10,000 people on this very community inside the price maker community, and over the last 4 or 5 days we're moving between, a few hundred, and clearly not enough people yet have taken the maneuver or been able to set up a G999 wallet. It's why part of the homework will be to do that. Whatever it takes, guys, you really need just as much effort as you're putting in the back end to move across into your carrot bit and getting your KBC ready to move. You need to be putting it on the front end as well to make sure you've got somewhere to allocate that particular asset position. Okay, there's also a top 100 we can see in here. There's obviously already vested interest, including the company itself, inside this project. Makes up about 25% of the total expected coin supply. Okay, and then we are the major drive to the rest of the volume going in. We are a preordained community. And all we're basically doing here is melding. We're melding the existing community from what we've built over the years, to put ourselves in front of this project. We're melding it now into what it is to drive into G999, which is a much more professional, much better built, much better use case in utility, especially with the communications requirements of the 21st century. And this thing has some exceptional abilities with regards to being a real use case in real human life. So my position there on this, Bruce, is that We do need to help as many people as we can. I'm delighted to do my little bit in helping that along day to day and week to week as we build people now to be ready for the 15th of November. Thanks, Bruce.
Sean, thanks so much for that, and thanks for sharing that. Test drive, as Sean says, test drive, create awareness, education. This is key, and this was missing. This was missing in a lot of the community from 2018 and 2019, and that sounds like a broad brushstroke, and I'm painting everybody with the same paintbrush, and I apologize if you take offense to that, but I'm part of the Discord group that G999 has set up. I can see the questions coming through there. I can see what our community is asking and telling and saying. And it's very obvious that we're communally not equipped for this move. So please, I want to encourage every person, embrace the equipping side so that we can implement Price Maker. I may have been naive in believing this community's ability, having now looked at the Discord channel, but I'm excited that we get to set the right foundation, set the right education in place so we can actually go implement Price Maker. So very quickly, just a couple of tick boxes here that I want to make sure that we tick. Carrot bits, please go make sure that your coins are in carrot bits. They're not floating around in some open exchange. Make sure that that's done. Help your community, help the people you've spoken to do the same thing. Second thing, go and upload your wallet, whether it's the desktop laptop wallet or the web wallet post 15th of October. You need a wallet. You need a wallet so that there can be a movement, a value change, a value transfer out of the old system, Carrotbit KBC, into the new G999. It's from this source, it's from this platform that we're going to launch our Price Maker strategy, that we're going to launch our Price Maker strategy into the V999 exchange, where we're going to go and fill the sell orders of the sell book. And then many of us in the community, as you know, who are sitting on gold, are actually going to go and match those, but with our own buy orders. In other words, in the earliest of days, we're going to create the supply and demand. If you haven't looked at week 2 and week 3, please go watch it. I don't want to eat up everybody's time repeating this concept. All I want you to be aware of is these are the platforms needed in order to implement our strategy. Know for yourself, because it's been announced, that G999 will be on multiple exchanges. Understand for yourself that we will implement the strategy on one exchange. We will consolidate the strategy on one exchange. That is unity. That is unity in community. So take the time to understand how we're going to do it. As we get closer, as we're test driving this platform, as this platform goes into Genesis state, in other words, it's not open market state yet. When this goes into Genesis state on the 23rd of October, we can do some movements between in order to test, get used to, so that by the 15th of November, D-Day, we're all set, we're all placed, and we're ready to move. So I want to thank you for your time, for jumping on this call. Our community, if you go look at it, is now sitting at 10,000 strong on Price Maker channel. I've had some people private messaging me and saying, but it looks like there's one or two whales sitting outside of our community. Or if you go look at the Explorer on the site, there's 25% coins sitting with somebody else. I get that. I get that somebody or someone has a lot of coins. We have a collective coins. We have a collective bag of coins. We are the biggest whales as we come to the market because we have a strategy. And here's the exciting thing. Our community has first dibs on nodes and stakes, noding and staking. And that means that all the coins that are being released into the community are being released into our community. So our bags are growing. Our influence is growing. and we've got a unique window to implement that influence. So go watch the strategy calls, understand the strategy. We're getting closer and closer to D-Day, but there are some boxes we need to tick. You need to go tick your boxes. Please go tick your boxes so that we can move and step together. So I want to thank you for your time. If you're watching this live, thank you so much. If you're watching this as a recording on the Price Maker channel, well done. Please understand that we are not putting marketing links into these videos. We're not promoting this worldwide. We're not trying to hook people into any commission structure. This community has a very specific goal, and so we're putting our content into one place so that this community can go and hit those goals. Thank you for your time. Have a fantastic evening. Cheers, everyone.